Going on, guys? Welcome back to the Athletic Lounge. I am Mike, and a little change of direction here. We have a new guest sitting in with us today. No Josh for this. This is Josh's more football and basketball. But we brought him on the last time. Very insightful. Gave us a lot of good numbers and ended up being right towards the end of that Ravens game. I mean, they ended up kind of falling apart, like Kerry said. It wasn't against the team he thought it was going to be against, but he's here, and I think he's going to bring a big part of the Athletic Lounge to baseball, and I think we're going to have a good time. So, Kerry, are you there?
What's going on, guys? I'm happy to be here. Very excited for baseball season. I'm a diehard Mets fan. Mike's a Yankee fan, as you can tell, so we'll have fun this season.
Teams. Yeah, I do believe that the Dodgers are definitely one of the scarier teams to be on the lookout for. I mean, if they're not the number one World Series contender as of this moment, I don't know who is. I mean, Kerry, I don't know. Do you think that, where do you think Ohtani brings the Dodgers? I mean, does he make a dramatic difference? I mean, we saw he's probably not going to pitch, I would assume, until towards the end of the year if they need him. Now, do you see that being a big piece missing, even if he's just hitting and not pitching?
Ohtani, in my opinion, was the only reason the Angels were relevant for so long. Yes, Trout brought a huge aspect to the Angels, but it was really all about Ohtani. Regardless if he was hitting 400-foot bombs or he was dicing on the mound. I mean, if you look at the Dodgers roster, their pitching core is ridiculous. They got, Glass now, Bueller, Yamamoto, Kershaw, the names
keeping Kershaw.
just go on and on. And then you got the offense. You got, Mookie, all those guys who can just rake the ball. So he's just going to take over. I don't think he'll take over. I think he'll be a huge aspect on either side of the ball for them, which is terrifying, seeing that their roster is just stacked. But super teams don't work in pro sports. You can quote me on that one in the next 162 games.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, you have a look at some of those teams that, even the Angels tried to go all in last year to just keep Ohtani around at the deadline. They brought in, some pieces and it didn't make a difference. They still ended up falling flat towards the end and they looked really solid. It looked like they could make a push last year. And Ohtani obviously chased the money as he should. He's going to be set up for lifetimes to come. And, I think a big thing about, you have Mookie, I think, moving over to second base now over for the Dodgers. So I feel like, bringing Mookie in, he is a Gold Glove and he's accustomed to playing over in the infield. I think that should be interesting to see. Now, as far as Cody Bellinger, I mean, old Dodger, I mean, where do you see Bellinger going? I mean, there's a lot of, the Yankees wanted him before the whole Soto thing. I don't think the Yankees are going to really, pick at that one. But where do you see Bellinger landing?
Belly, man, yeah. Belly is definitely probably, if not the best free agent right now, in my opinion. I don't know, man. He's got to go to a team that one has money because yes, he's a free agent, but he knows his worth, and other teams know his worth. So if let's say the Athletics come out with some terrible contract, he's not going to take it. He's not one of those free agents that are just like, I need a team, I need a team, I need a team. He needs a team that can pay him, play him, and I mean, even a team that could build around him. Like, he could complement someone like the Reds if the Reds balled out on money. But if someone like the Yankees give him a mediocre contract, I don't see him taking a mediocre contract. I see him going to a team that can make a push, but build around him, like Baltimore or Pittsburgh, like teams like that. And maybe even Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati is just god awful.
But yeah, I don't know I really don't know what happened to Cincinnati. I mean, there's still glimmers of talk about, Cody staying with the Cubs, so I mean, I think that does. I do think he doesn't really go anywhere, especially if he is not going to get the money that he's, He had a great year last year. You know, he had probably one of the best years he's had in the last couple years. And, you know, obviously he wants to get paid. You know, he kind of took a gimme contract with the Cubs, you know, like kind of get back contract. And, you know, he performed good last year, you know, 307, you know, 153 hits, 97 ribbies out of, you know, 499 at bats compared to, you know, 22. He hit 210. He hit 165 and 21. He was, you know, plagued by injuries, those two, you know, 21 and 20. He had, you know, dealt with some injuries and COVID. But, you know, you could definitely see the jump from 2019 with the Dodgers to last year. So I don't think he's I don't think he's washed. I think he still has a lot left in him and a lot left to, you know, provide a team, especially if he can stay healthy. And like I said, if he looks as good as he did last year with the Cubs, I'm surprised he's been around, still not signed for this long. You know, it's kind of interesting to see all the people that are, you know, we'll get to in a little bit, that are still floating around, not having contracts yet. And, you know, we're basically at spring training, you know? Now,
Yeah, I mean, just to
sorry, go
give you
ahead.
an answer to your question, because I didn't really give you a team. I mean, I'm looking at the report based on yardbarker.com, which is like a reputable baseball website. I
Mm,
mean, all the teams that need outfielding um, for Belly, 90% of them are irrelevant. The only two teams that really could do anything with Belly is Houston and Atlanta.
mm.
Atlanta's entire core is under contract in 2024. They lost a big arm due to surgery for the entire 2024 season. They signed Chris Sale. So it looks like to me that they're trying to put a band-aid on a gaping wound. And I think Belly would be a good distraction for that. So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Atlanta. You say he lands in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, does does Atlanta really want to bring on a big contract like that, though? Is what I'm saying. I mean, he's obviously going to want to get paid if he's going to have to leave Chicago. You know,
Who are they going to give? Who are they going to give that contract to? Atlanta really doesn't have, like that person. I think Belly can still be that person to get a contract like that. I don't think Atlanta has like anyone I'm worth giving a fucking giant contract to.
Or I mean, what about the Giants?
I mean, if I'm signing Belly off of a free agency, and if I'm Belly, I'm going to someone who's making a push now, or at least within the next year or two.
I mean, I don't think anyone anticipated. I don't think he anticipated the Cubs, you know, really having as good as a year as they had last year. You know, they played pretty well last year. I don't think he anticipated that. You know, so that's why I don't. I feel like if he wants to get paid, and then San Francisco will pay him. I don't think he really cares. I mean, San Francisco was in the mix of teams last year, you know, that was kind of bubbling under and, you know, trying to make a little bit of movement over there. And, you know, I feel like that'd be an interesting spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, you got San Fran, yeah, but you got like Ozzy Alves, Acuna. There's people in Atlanta that can surround him. Like, who does
Yeah.
San Fran have to complement Belly? Belly's an outfielder. Like, he's not carrying any team. He needs
Yeah.
compliments.
You're right. You're right. He's not like a superstar tier player.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and especially at a sport like baseball, where you're pretty confined to your position defensively, especially as an outfielder. Like, just hitting cutoffs and making catches and roping the ball in is really all you can do.
Mm.
But for offense, like you got Ozzy Alves, you got Acuna, him, like that's another piece to your offense that can offset your defense, in my opinion.
I
It would be
mean,
cool to see him in
I
Atlanta,
mean,
see him in red for once.
if San Francisco really wanted to make a splash, they could sign, you know, Bellinger, Chapman, and Monty. I don't think Monty's signed anywhere yet either. I know they have the cap to do it. Supposedly they're, they've been they've been trying to get their get back from Judge.
Yeah,
And I can't imagine
that was hilarious.
what.
The whole Judge thing.
Yeah, Arson Judge.
Hilarious.
You know, yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, there's some articles
I'm
here. I'm
looking
looking.
at all of the off-season moves, and Baltimore is fairly quiet except for Craig Cribble. 1 year, 13 million.
Hmm. I mean,
Oh no, that was
you
Baltimore. That
think
was
that
Baltimore.
signing
Sorry.
is as impactful as I'm assuming that they think it would be?
What was that?
I said, do you think that Craig Kimbrell signing was as impactful as you think it would be? I mean, like, I feel like that's a lot of money to give, someone who, you know,
The
has
Baltimore.
been
I
very up
mean,
and down his whole career.
Baltimore. I just have such a love for Baltimore. Just so, like, when me and you went to Camden Yards, like maybe we can compile all the pictures we take in, put out a little thing for the fans. But Camden Yards just has a vibe to it.
Hmm.
And when I went there, I was all in on Baltimore, and their talent is young,
No, you're
and
right.
it's raw. Gunnar Henderson came up from the minors, firing.
Hmm.
Adley is a dog. We physically watched him hit 3 dingers in front of us
Yeah.
in one game. Like that's just what I like about Baltimore. They're not worried about, oh, this guy's getting old. What do we do with this contract? It's like, not Gunnar Henderson. He's not even old enough to drink. Let's give him 30 million. You're like, it's just him. Craig Krim. Okay, so back to your question. Craig Krimble going to Baltimore to me is just another piece in their puzzle to start making a dynasty, not a dynasty, but making a serious push.
Hmm.
Teddy Moles is getting up there in age. I think you're going to see him in the DH slot a lot more than you see him in the outfield, just because they don't really have that DH type of player right now. But like I said, his age. But I think Craig Kimbrell was exactly is what Baltimore needed and was looking for, because there was always a question. Their defense was great, but their mound presence was kind of lacking. Their offense was off the chain. It's just their pitching. Their pitching was a problem,
Hmm.
and I think Crystal is going to be a good answer to that problem.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even he had a pretty good year last year. He had an okay year with the Dodgers the year before. I mean, the 326 last year. He had 23 saves with the Phillies. So maybe he still has some juice in him. He is 35. So
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking about the Phillies. Like, how many times were they within 3 for him
yeah.
to get us in?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I mean, he's got 6 losses on his 8 wins, 6 losses, and he's pitched 71 games.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a little less than half of the season.
Yeah. That's
So
probably an inning
uh,
here, an inning there, 2 innings here. 'Cause I don't really think they were using him as their full time closer. I don't believe.
which is crazy.
You know.
Which is crazy to me. If Krimble went to the Mets, and I say the Mets because they're my favorite team, I would be jumping out of my sandals, because a guy like Edwin Diaz, it's all on him. The Mets pitching closing core is terrible.
Yeah.
So if you had Krimble and Diaz,
Yeah, but you get Diaz back
now
now too.
now if you take Diaz out of it, a team like Baltimore, who doesn't have an Edwin Diaz, and you add Craig Krimble, now it's like, holy shit, we can finish games now.
Yeah. Listen, I think that should be an interesting. Now that you say it like that, I feel like that should be a very interesting thing to see how he holds up in a very, I want to say, decently tough AL East. He was kind of pitching in the NL the last couple years. He's pitched. He pitched with the White Sox in 21 and had a 5.9 ERA. Granted, he pitched with the Red Sox in 2018, but the last time he pitched in the American League, he got rocked. So I think that should be an interesting to see how he performs, especially, coming off of a very kind of back up season,
And his
Now,
contract's only 1 year.
yeah, I mean, so there's
So
very little risk for Baltimore, 100%. And they got
yeah.
Corbin too, as well. So
Who did you say? Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Corbin.
Yeah, Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
See, I mean, Baltimore's just answering the bell. They heard their fans. They looked at their salary cap and went, okay, let's sign Corbin Burns and let's sign Kimball to not minor contracts,
Mm.
but 1 year contracts. It's like let's see what we can do with this pitching. Let's see how the fans react to us being able to close games. And honestly, Craig Kimball coming from Philly, like I would compare Baltimore. I mean, when we went, they were playing the Athletics, dude. Like, it's not that serious of a game, and the crowd was going ballistic. Like,
Yeah.
the environment, I would compare that heavily to Philly. And if Crimble was striving in Philly, regardless how good their team was, Camden Yards is going to be going crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now I think another interesting signing also is Jock Peterson back with the D-backs. I used to love Jock growing up. I don't know, it might have just been his name, but I remember he used to smack the ball too, if I'm not mistaken. When he was with the Dodgers early in his career, and now he had a rough season last year: 235, 57 walks, 51 RBIs, played 121 games, 58 at bats. I don't really see the Diamondbacks doing anything. I mean, there's
You think
no.
they blew their load last season?
Yeah, absolutely,
A little
absolutely,
one and done action?
absolutely. I don't see them going right back to there.
I say, hot take, if they don't do anything this year, I can see that team completely dismantling. Ketel Marte going somewhere else.
Hmm.
All those guys. I mean, Jock Peterson, and I quote, went, "I'm thrilled to join the quote unquote electric Diamondbacks." So he's going into, from what I can tell from that little statement, is that he's going into Arizona thinking this is going to be electric. They're on a comeback this year. They got a ticket to write. Like they are just he thinks that this team is pissed that they lost, which they are, and that they're going to come back swinging. If they don't, I totally see this team dismantling and going back to the original Diamondbacks and being terrible.
I mean, it's funny. I'm reading up on it here now. Supposedly, Diamondback fans are pretty happy with what they've seen so far. Judging from says the Diamondbacks have had a sneaky good offseason. They picked up Randall Grichuk. I've never heard of this guy. Uh, he spent 2023 with the Rockies and the Angels. He batted 267 and 16 home runs. I mean, I'm not familiar with who that is.
With who?
Randall Grichuk.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I
So,
haven't really heard of him.
yeah, he's from Colorado. I think he's,
Probably haven't heard of him.
yeah, neither have I. So, I mean, that's another one. I mean, so another name I want to bring up. There's some names that I want to pass because I don't really think. I think Joey Gallo to the Nats. I hate you, Joey Gallo. I will forever hate you. Forever and always. Coming from a Yankee fan to you, I think you might be the worst acquisition we have ever made in our franchise. Maybe besides Ellsbury. But Gallo is a close second. The games that I saw that year and the amount of disappointment I got every time I stepped into a Yankee stadium and I heard the Joey Gallo up to bat. So Nats fans, I hope he does you well. I'm sure he'll walk a lot and strike out a lot. God bless. I hope he has a bounce back season. Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, but he can't handle New York and obviously couldn't handle where was he, in Texas?
Yeah.
He won a championship and bounces. I mean, that's good for you, Joey. Josh Hader to the Astros, I think is a very interesting one. And I feel like the Astros always find a way every year to slightly get a little bit better. Every year, it's always not the biggest move in the offseason, but they always find one one guy that is definitely going to make a gigantic impact with the Astros. Now, I mean, what's your take on Hader? I mean,
Um, as you're a Yankee fan, so I'll just do the Astros hate for you because I can't stand them. Hater is a single diamond on a tennis bracelet. Now, if I'm going to elaborate, he's just another giant piece to this giant team. You know, I go down the roster and Altuve, Bregman, Verlander, Pena, Tucker, Jordan Alvarez, Ryan Presley, like these guys, they're all ball players, and Hader is either going to rise to the level because he's not the guy. Like he's not like the guy.
Yeah,
He's
no,
used
he's
to being
definitely.
the guy.
I don't really. I feel like the Astros are made up, especially their big role players. You know, you had McCormick last year. You know, had a great postseason, and the year before that had a great postseason. I just feel like they end up letting guys go and bringing guys in that they think are going to most likely benefit them in the postseason. And I do think that Hader is a pretty good pickup. You know, I do think that he will make an impact on the Astros. I do think so. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. Especially with Verlander being so old, having a shitty season with the Mets. Like,
yeah,
he's gonna Verlander. I feel like this affects Verlander more than it affects Hader because now Verlander can be like, yo, my shoulder's a little tight. I'm gonna
yeah,
scratch today, and then they're like, all right, fine, let's bring in Hader. You know, let's not bring in this guy who's 0-1 with a 9 ERA.
oh yeah,
Let's bring in, you know, a future Hall of Famer, Josh Hader, to compliment you. And Verlander could be like, all right, cool, I can take a step back for a second, you know, make sure my crusty bones are all good to go, and then I come in and I play someone like the Athletics and get some throws in.
And now another one I think is now coming from a diehard Yankee fan here, and Marcus Stroman,
Gross.
which was an interesting one. I don't know how satisfied I really am with Stroman. I know he's very up and down. He could be a cancer to the clubhouse. I hope that is not the case. I know he's played for the Mets. The do-rag on while pitching is sick. And I can.
Are the Yankees going to allow that?
That's funny you said it. I was thinking that too. I do think that they allow that. I do. Because I do think that it would have been in his contract. It would have been discussed before he signed that contract. I could be wrong. I just hope it's a cool one, like the Empire State Building or something. You could listen. I think that the Yankees need a little bit of a, you know, all the old heads are going to hate this, but I do think that the Yankees need a little bit of a jersey change of some sort. You know, like get the City Connects. Like every other team has them. Why can't you just have somebody make your City Connects? Who is over there in Yankee universe over there saying we don't want City Connect jerseys? We know how sick City Connect jerseys for the Yankees would look. Like the ideas, the Bronx, the subway,
the Bronx, the city, the all boroughs. I mean,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're like the military, dude. I mean, I mean, I don't know if your fans know this, but I'm in the military, and it's the same thing. Everybody has to be the same. Nobody can have beards. Like it's just you're grown ass men, and you're telling them because 500 years ago, you know, we didn't allow beards, so we're going to keep it going to keep a real tradition going. Like, come on now. Same thing with the Mets, though. The Mets don't have a City Connect. We just, let's bust out the black jerseys and everyone will go crazy. Like, that's going to get old after a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are like the retro throwback jerseys, you know?
Your whole organization is a retro throwback for no reason.
But back to Stroman. Pitched for the Cubs last year. He did okay. I mean, just under 4. You know, he hasn't had over 4 ERA since 2018 with the Blue Jays, his last 2 years with the Blue Jays. Even with the Mets, his second year with the Mets, he pitched great. 3.02 ERA, 33 games played, 10 wins, 13 losses. And I'm going to go on a limb here and say those 13 losses were not all his fault.
No.
Um,
I'll tell you something about Stroman, why he liked the Mets. Stroman is from Long Island.
yeah.
His dad is a police officer. I'm not going to say where, but his dad is a police officer on the island. Like, he liked being here. And then the Mets just, he started doing bad, and New York does what New York does. And then the Yankees are going to do the same thing
Mhm.
when he starts to choke or, have problems or
Yeah, of course.
emotional breakdown. They're going to chew him up and spit him out. And then he's going to do exactly what Stroman does. And he's going to talk a whole bunch of smack about people and create problems. And he's just such a bad person to have around. I can't, like, I would rather sign two guys to a minor league deal that are older than him.
Mhm.
I just don't like him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I have some high hopes. I have a lot of high hopes for what is that fuck motherfucker's name? Uh
While you're
King.
thinking about that, like, you see what he said about the Yankees? That wasn't normal. That wasn't normal smack talk between two teams. That was like going after the organization and the pitching core that the Yankees had at the time, which the Mets were in no position to talk at all to the Yankees pitching core at the time. Like, he's just he's just a problem to have around. And then he burns his bridges. Somehow the Yankees sign him. I don't think Stroman was that much of a pitcher to be like, okay, he talked the illest of shit about us. Let's sign him. He's good. He's a good pitcher. Like, come on. There's so many better pitchers in the free agency right now that are not Stroman who don't
Yeah.
talk about the Yankees like that.
I think it was more of a move to kind of make sure that they're going to lock somebody down. They didn't want to get out of this without another addition to their pitching, just in case Snell doesn't sign, which I do think, I hope to God, I think Snell with New York would be fantastic. I think he'd fit in perfectly there. Um, you know, I do think that, now looking at the rotation for the Yankees, you got Cole, Cy Young winner. Now, you have Carlos Rodon, who had the worst pitching performances I've ever seen out of a Yankee, who was supposed to be a big value player coming into the Bronx, and he just did not perform. And it's going to be very interesting to see how he comes back this year, because I know he's definitely got something to prove. I know he's definitely thinking, damn, I'm about to get booed out in New York if I don't pick this shit up. So, you got him. Nestor pitched, great. He kind of dealt with some injuries last year, but I think he'll be back, and he'll be, back to his normal self. And,
Nestor.
yeah, Nestor's a beast. Everyone loves Nestor. Um, and, Schmidt did they trade Schmidt? Was he included in that Padres deal? No, he's still with the Yankees.
The key departures for the Yankees were Severino, King, Peralta, Kyle Higginbotham, and IKF Isaiah Kiner Falefa.
All right, and
Like the key
I don't want
departures.
to. I don't want to dig too. I don't want to dig too deep. I want to get to that a little bit later. But I know. So Stroman to the Yanks, their pitching is definitely missing another big name, and I do think that they will get Snell. But now I was and still am. I love how the Mets can always manage to pick up the Yankees
Scraps.
scraps. Exactly. Now this scrap, personally, I absolutely hands down love. Bader to the Mets.
Ew.
I think that is going to be. He's only there for year 10-5. I would love for him to have a breakout year if he can stay healthy. He's obviously shown he's a problem in the playoffs, and if they can get Bader there, I mean, I definitely think that he can help bring them further into the playoffs. Now, you're getting a goal, almost, he might be a Gold Glove winner currently. I'm not sure, but he is a Gold Glove. His defense is spectacular. When he's hitting, he's on point. He's quick, he's fast. As long as he can stay healthy, which I hope he does, he should be a great addition. Now, what do you have to say about Bader? I mean, what's your outfield looking like now with the addition of Bader?
I'm pretty excited about Bader, to be honest with you, because Bader, actually, most of our outfielders play just as much infield. Like McNeil and Nimmo will switch back and forth between the infield. So McNeil, personally, I think he played most of last season at second. So you have, McNeil at second, Lindor at short, third base is a question, and then
Mm,
Alonso is a question at first. But back to Bader, like with Bader being a pure outfielder, like we can then move those guys who primarily play infield down into the infield because third base is a problem right now.
mm,
Like we have Brett Beatty, who's violently inconsistent. He came up mid-season from the minors. Him and Francisco Alvarez came up super late in the season. Beatty, I don't know. I love him to death. I think he's awesome. The double deuce, but he's just very inconsistent. But I'm excited about Bader, man. He came from a team who has good hitting coaches,
mm,
who he's been around players who can hit the ball, which is what we're gonna have to do because our pitching core is just terrible. So
mm. Yeah.
with him coming from the Yankees, he was maybe not as good, but surrounded by Judge's pitching coach, Judge himself, Giancarlo. Um, some of your other big hitters, IKF was a big hitter.
Yeah.
Volpe came up, so
Torres.
maybe he got to see what it's like being a new guy again and going into the basics of hitting. With Volpe being a star, a lot of attention on him, but
Mm.
I don't know. I think he came from a good environment, which is what I'm hanging my hat on. Because if another terrible Met season happens, who knows what could happen to me? Could jump off a building. I don't know.
I do think the Mets are, you are right. I do think there is a big gap in their pitching, which we'll get to in a little bit. But um, Chris Sale to Atlanta. I think Chris Sale's career is over. I'm surprised that Atlanta would even want to pay him a cent. He's shown that he can't stay healthy for longer than about an inning and a half. Um, so that's besides the point. I guess Atlanta was like, "Hey, give him a shot. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? We lose some money. Like, so what?"
Like I
Uh,
said before, Atlanta's putting a band-aid on a gaping hole on their core.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And Chris Sale, sorry to fucking burst your bubble, Atlanta. Chris Sale is not the fucking move. It's not. Uh, why that would even cross a thought in their mind? I mean, he hasn't had a good season since fucking since the White Sox. I'm gonna have to look that up. I mean, Chris Sale. I mean, let's see. When was the last time Buddy pitched well
In the
without
SEC.
getting hurt? Okay, so he pitched 27 games for the Red Sox in 2018. He was 12 and
He won
4.
a chip.
His ERA was 2.11. Ever since then, he's played he played 25 games with the Red Sox, had a 4.40 ERA. Played 9 games with the Red Sox another year. He was 3-16, 3.16 ERA, which is good, but I mean he obviously couldn't stay healthy. 22 couldn't stay healthy, played 2 games. And then
He played 56 games in the last 4 years, going 17 and 18 with a 4.86 ERA.
so listen, honestly, I don't know where. I feel like that's like a Bumgarner thing. I feel like that's the same thing. I don't know. You said he went somewhere else too, right? Bumgarner went somewhere.
He doesn't have a deal.
Oh, he doesn't have a deal. Well, as he shouldn't.
I don't
Um,
know about that.
yeah,
Nobody wants Bumgarner.
but Bumgarner was awful.
I thought he was a dog in San Fran.
Yeah, he was. That was like fucking long ass time ago.
I don't know, man. I'm Detroit, I'm Oakland, I'm Cincinnati. Like, none of these teams have pitching. I know they have money. No, but they're not signing anyone to any crazy deals. They have some sort of money to give him a 1 year deal. He's Bumgarner. He's gonna be in one of the Hall of Fames, whether it be baseball or San Fran's Hall of Fame. He won chips with them. Like he's I don't know. If I'm
I
a
could
team
do.
like Cincinnati or Oakland or Detroit or Colorado,
You want to know what his
a team
ERA
that
was
has no
last
one,
year?
what?
You want to know what his ERA was last year?
Sure.
Take a guess. Over
Three
under
nine
over
four.
under over under 6.5.
Jesus, I just said 3.9. Uh, oh God, I'm gonna go under at a high five.
High five. His ERA last year was a 10.26.
Oh my God.
No wonder why Buddy doesn't have and you want to know what it was the year before that?
I'm gonna go with the mid fives again.
Mid fives. It was actually 4.88.
Really?
Yep, 4.88. And you want to know the year before that? It was a 4.67. So now we're in 2020 now. It was a 6.48. Buddy has not pitched a good year since I'd say 2018 with the Giants, where he pitched a 3.26. And yeah, then there was nothing really to show for it. I mean, let's see. Innings comparison.
I mean, he was also a pitcher where he could hit back when pitchers weren't DHs. Like I think he has a couple of dingers being a pitcher.
Yeah, no, yeah. Supposedly he had a good. Listen, I just think that he does not deserve a contract, nor will. Maybe he'll get a AAA contract from the Mets.
And I would die if I was a minor league player coming up, 18, 17 years old, and Madison Bumgarner is taking the mound. I'd shit my pants.
Dude,
Regardless of
I'd
his
be like
ERA,
sick, dude. I'm taking a walk this at bat.
yeah, I'm just not gonna take my bat off my shoulders and see what happens.
So Yamamoto and Ohtani to the Dodgers, we already talked about. McCutch. So
My boy.
your boy, and now I want to take a little time out. Speaking of McCutch, so we will be doing our tour of the stadiums this year that we will be vlogging and videoing and talking about basically the whole year. Long ass season, 162 games plus the playoffs are where we're trying to go. Seems like we basically have Cleveland. It seems like Pittsburgh's going to be on that list. Where else do we say? Philly?
Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Philly, and then we live on the East Coast, so we're gonna try for a big trip in the Midwest. Probably not gonna make it to California this year.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna try to hit Oakland before they
Ricky Henderson Field.
knock that piece of shit down.
But for fans who are not from New York, me and Mike will definitely be at Yankees and Mets games and the Red Sox. Maybe we'll hit up another Sox game.
Yeah,
We'll do
absolutely.
tours too. Our goal is to hit every stadium for every team.
Mm-hmm.
We're like 7 in right now.
Yeah.
So
I think that's honestly a great start. I mean, I have a couple more that I've seen Toronto. I think that Toronto is, out of everything that I have seen, probably the cleanest, nicest. No, I wouldn't say nicest. I don't know. Like there's a lot. We've seen a lot. We've seen not Cleveland. We've seen Cincinnati, which I thought was really great. Baltimore was really great. But I don't know, man. Toronto was like just clean. Like it was just really clean. Like it was like a different. It's a different universe over there in Toronto. I don't know what they got going on. The beer selections they had over in Toronto was completely different than what we have over here. And I think that we will definitely be going to, especially Yankee Mets games. I will be at opening day. And then I know we have a Yankee game planned that I'll honestly probably vlog all those other. I mean, why not? I mean, might as well vlog everything, especially if it's not for you guys, it's for us. Maybe we'll eventually look back on that stuff, but I think it's.
Yeah, I'll be at Mets opening day, so you'll have a vlog from both.
Oh, shit. That'd be cool.
Absolutely, I will be there. And I will be at Port St. Lucie for a game or two. for the spring training.
When is
But
that?
I will be at City Field opening day.
When is that? That Port St. Lucie game.
Haven't locked it down yet.
Okay.
Because I got a couple of other stuff. There's a couple of other business I need to handle in Florida, but
Okay.
I'll
That'd
look
be
at
cool.
schedule, see what I can do.
That'd be sick. Yeah, we could definitely get some vlog footage of that too. So please stay tuned. There's definitely a lot of baseball content, especially if you love baseball like we do. I mean, we are always down to talk about baseball. And eventually I'm going to have Kerry here in studio.
Yeah.
Our schedules are a little opposite right now. Work schedule's a little opposite, but we will have Kerry in here hopefully next episode if we can time it right. But like I said, I think Pittsburgh, McCutch, he's one away,
He's
right?
one home run away from 300. I saw this coming. I told Mike I don't even remember where he was because I didn't care. But when he came back to Pittsburgh on a 1 year, I'm like, he wants to retire in Pittsburgh. He signed the 1 year, he played the season, and then he got to 290. And I was like, Mike, I guarantee you he's signing another year to hit 300 in Pittsburgh, and he's going to retire the year after that. And what does he do? He signs another 1 year, and you know what he's playing? He's the DH. He's not even in the field anymore. He is solely playing for 300, and I can attempt to be there. I would kill to be there, but I probably won't.
Yeah, I mean,
big McCutcheon guy.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, now I actually have a question for you. Could you give me let's see, the 5 teams that McCutcheon has played on in his career?
God, where did he go for like 5 seconds? That's like the one that's going to bother me.
So we got obviously the main one.
Okay, so you got Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He was on the Yankees for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to say he played on the Phillies.
Yeah, that's right.
And the last one's gonna screw me. Give me the team colors.
You got two. You got 2 more. So you got Pittsburgh, you got New York, and you have.
Oh. Okay, go ahead. I know he played on Milwaukee.
Okay, yep. You played in Milwaukee. You got one more. See if you can get the last one.
Give me one color. Give me a region. West, Central, East.
West.
Ooh. Okay, so it's got to be a Cali team because he didn't play for Arizona. He didn't play for Colorado, which is a mid team, but okay. He didn't play for the Angels. He didn't play for Oakland. San Fran?
Yeah, it's San Fran.
Ooh, how long did he play on San Fran for?
Just a year.
Yeah, 5 seconds, like I said. Real quick, Mike, I was thinking about this when you were talking. If the fans, because me and you can't decide, comment a team, and whatever team gets the most likes, me and Mike will make a trip and vlog it.
That's a good idea.
It's got to be a stadium we haven't seen before. So not Texas, nowhere in the Northeast.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so just comment a team, most comments, we will go see that stadium.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. All right, cool.
And I will buy a bobblehead from that stadium, one for myself, and I will give it.
We'll do a giveaway.
As a giveaway.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Good idea. Yeah, I mean, and also, dude, I mean, we're at right now current tracking for our subscriber list here is we're at 500 subs. Almost. I want to say we're like maybe 2 subs away, I want to say.
Big giveaway at 1,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said I wanted to do. I had a. We are sitting at 496. So we are 4 away from 500. I did say a video game giveaway, video game of your choice at, I want to say 5. And then I said 1,000. Then I said 5. So, get us to 1,000. Maybe I do 2 giveaways. Maybe I do a game, and maybe we do something else. But we do appreciate everyone that does watch us. We still got some stuff to go over. I think that we lost Hunter Renfroe. I think retired. I want to say
Renfroe he signed somewhere.
Right? Was it Renfroe? Who did I say? Was it Hosmer? Eric Hosmer? Who did I tell you retired?
Eric Hosmer.
Was it Hosmer? Sorry, Hunter Renfroe. You should be retired though. You're pretty old too.
Renfroe went to the Royals, so he basically is retired.
Okay. Yeah, basically. Yeah, so Renfroe to the Royals. Now, Soto to the Yankees. Now, am I upset about what we gave up? Yes. King, Peralta. Now, I don't think Peralta went. I think King and Higashioka and some prospects went, I want to say.
I don't have the entire list, but the key departures were Severino, King, Peralta, Higadosha, and IKF.
And Severino just kind of packed his stuff and just went across town. I mean,
went across the lake to Queens.
Yeah, went to Queens. And now that Soto trade, I think, does it make them more competitive this year? Absolutely. And I do think that the Verdugo signing also is a big one. Verdugo is very kind of streaky, but I do think he's a hard player. I mean, he plays hard every game. So I'm curious to see how he plays out with the Yankees. Honestly, I mean, you got Judge, Soto, and Verdugo. You got Dominguez obviously going to come back when he's healthy. You have
Volpe.
Well, Volpe's in the infield. I'm just trying to kind of lay out the outfield now. I mean, that outfield looks pretty solid, especially if Dominguez comes back, pretty strong. I mean, he was playing his ass off before he got hurt. And I think that they have the depth as long as Soto stays healthy. I think that short porch and right is going to be mwah. I think that shit should be beautiful. Especially if we have a better comeback year from I want to say, what the fuck is his name? LeMahieu. LeMahieu plays like he did the second half of that season this year. I feel like he should be money. Rizzo, I'm expecting a fucking huge year from. He started out last year so damn good before he got hurt. He got hurt midway through the season, I want to say, like right before the break. And I am expecting him to have yet another big season like he did. He started off so hot, and then he ended up saying he had a concussion. He had a concussion, and his head was all, so I'm expecting him to be, great. I think that you're going to have LeMahieu 1, Judge 2, Soto 3, Stanton 4, right?
The lineup is just gross.
I mean, Stanton, I don't know if you saw some pictures of Stanton. Stanton looked pretty slimmed down a little bit. I mean, you can even have Glaber at 4. I mean, Glaber had his best, I'd say his best year yet with the Yankees last year. He's really stepped up. So I do think that, and Rizzo, you slide Rizzo in there too. I mean, Volpe, I expect to have a better year than he did last year. The only thing that concerns me at this moment in time with the Yankees right now is I think their bullpen is a little thin. I think, you lost some big name. You lost Peralta, who was, a pretty good. I like Peralta. He was kind of up and down, but it seemed like he could come in and get the job done and close the game out or help close the game out. And, losing King, too, is a big one. I mean, King was a back-end bullpen guy, turned him into a starter, and he fucking excelled to to the sky, which we were in desperate need of a damn pitcher last year. Severino is fucking trash. I just hope he does okay for you guys. I mean, I think Severino is the epitome of just giving someone so many chances and hoping to get a different outcome. He couldn't stay healthy. When he was healthy, he was great. When he was on, he was on. But we expect a lot over here in this uniform, and he just lost it. And it sucks that I have to say that, but he looked a mess. Like he couldn't pitch if his life depended on it towards the end of his tenure with the Yankees. He had that one good game, I want to say. I want to look at his last stats. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you think that he's able to turn it around for you guys?
I mean, Severino is just a small piece of a giant problem. Like, the Mets bullpen is just awful, and the Mets have the worst luck with pitchers
Hmm.
ever. Scherzer was a bust. Verlander was a bust. Diaz got injured. Um, and then everyone we're re-signing is just terrible. So if Severino can come and make a difference, then maybe it'll kick the other pitchers in the ass, because
Hmm.
it's just a mess in Queens right now with their bullpen. And I like Severino. I liked him on the Yankees, but you got to think of the pressure that's on Severino on the Mets compared to the Yankees. Like, if he gives up a run, there's like a 60% chance your lineup's going to do something.
Yeah.
The Mets are not power hitters. The only power hitter we have is Alonso, and he's not even signed yet. So, when Severino gives up a run, I feel like it's going to hit him a little harder than it would on the Yankees.
Hmm.
And like you said, if he's inconsistent and just how many chances are you going to give him? It's like, how many chances are the Mets going to give him to answer for our offense? Because our offense is not it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, if he's good under pressure, then I think he'll strive. If he's bad under pressure, like real pressure, then it's over. He's a one and done type of. Or I think we signed him two, but no, Bader was two. Um, yeah, I mean, if he's a one and done if he can't pick up the Mets pieces,
Hmm.
which is literally why we signed Verlander, did nothing.
Yeah.
We signed Scherzer, big name, did nothing. Diaz couldn't save the games because he was injured in not even an MLB game, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just,
now back to the Severino. I just want to read you some stats from Severino, just how fucking awful he has been. So from let's see, so Severino had a solid year. Was 2018. Seems like a lot of these people we keep mentioning, 2018 seems to be their best year. 2018, he was 19-8 with 32 games started. Uh, he had one shutout, one complete game. Like let up a decent amount of earned runs, right? Then 2019, he plays 3 games, gets hurt. 2021, he plays 4 games, gets hurt. Uh, and he actually, I want to say,
I mean, when you're pitching a four seamer 45% of the time, it's
yeah,
kind of easy to guess your pitches. He
yeah,
only uses his sinker 2% of the time.
really,
Yeah, and 60% of his pitches are above half of the zone, which I don't know about you, but when that pitch is up, your eyes glow.
yeah,
I may
yeah.
not be able to hit it, but professionals, when they see a ball high, they're either swinging and missing or swinging and hitting it.
So you want to hear this? So last year he gave up 23 home runs in 19 games. 23 home runs in 19 games. 34 walks in 19 games. 66 earned runs in 19 games. I don't know. I
I'm
don't
looking
know.
at his advanced metrics right now. He pitches his four seamer 45.5% of the time. All of them above the midline of the zone. his changeup, he only pitches 18.6% of the time, is below the middle of the zone, but still in the zone.
Hmm.
So if you've ever played me in MLB The Show, when you put a breaking ball in the zone low, yacked,
Yeah.
100%.
See you later, baseball.
Slider, he pitches 18% of the time. 40% of it's not in the zone. His cutter, same thing, 15% of the time. 60% of the time, it's not in the zone.
Yeah.
And this is his career. This isn't last season. His sinker, last pitch, 2% of the time he pitches it. 85% of the time, it's not in the zone.
Only I wonder if these teams have the same scouting report that you're seeing.
I'm like, probably not. I should watch the Athletic Lounge more.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to find his stats when he's down. When he's down, not down in the count, down in the game.
Down in the game.
But I don't know. When you pitch a fastball 45% of the time in the top half of the zone, you don't have to be a baseball expert to know that that's gone.
It's usually Yak City. Now, real question for you. We're almost finished here, but where now is this a rebuild year for the Mets, or is this a what do you look at when you see the season? You have high expectations, middle expectations?
I'm at a 500 expectation right now. If we can just make this season watchable, like I'll be happy. But based on what Gary Cohen has been saying and doing, and all because the Mets fans and the Mets nation were just destroying Cohen for not making any moves. Like we signed Bader to 1 year, that's great. Severino, great, but like nothing Mets type deal. And they were like, "What is going on?" And he basically inadvertently said that after the 2024 season, the free agency is going to be way better than it is now. So he doesn't want to blow his load this season, especially with Alonso not signed yet.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for maybe a first round see ya like we did last year. That was fun. I got to get a Mets postseason shirt. It was great. Now, if we're below 500 or at 500 and we don't make the playoffs, I'm pissed. And Cohen better have something up his sleeve on somebody who he's watching.
Listen, I'm sure he will. I mean, he seems like he's got everything handled over there, honestly. And I do think that they do need to resign Alonso. I mean, I'm sure you would agree.
If they don't assign Alonso, CJ Cron's going to the Mets. And they're going to use that cap space next season.
Shit. That'd be something.
I'm trying to find the quote that he said. But
now, another big name. So, me personally, for the Yankees, before we get into these free agents, I think it's chip or die for the Yankees this year. You know, there's no guarantee Soto's going to stick around. You have a once in a generational talent in Soto. And obviously they want to re-sign him. They have to. So I think this is all balls to the wall. The Yankees are like, listen, bro, we got to go and we got to go out there and fucking win this. And I do think that there are names that are still out there that they can pick up and still get. I mean, listen, you still have Montgomery out there. Monty's still a free agent. He pitched great with the Yankees and he pitched even better in Texas. I think he's also another option if you can't end up landing Snell. Sonny Gray signed with St. Louis. I think that's a great deal for Sonny. Maybe great for St. Louis. Yeah. I mean, listen, I think that there is a lot of moves to still be made. And I do think that we have a lot of baseball to talk about this year. And I think it's going to be great. I think the format of how we're going to end up doing things, I think is probably going to be, I'm going to try to do once a week. I'm going to try to rotate with this. This is going to be, I mean, as long as Kerry's available and free, I'm going to try to do this every week up until the season's over. And we will recap most of the games that we're on and try to get a nice friendly banter going on, I want to say. And I think that we definitely have our hands full. I think it's going to be good. I don't know if you have anything to add, Kerry.
I'm excited. It's going to be a fun season. I try not to banter with Yankee fans because they just crutch on 27 championships. So I don't really talk to Yankee fans about the Yankees, but it's all right. Mets made it in 2015, the most recent World Series out of the two, but it's fine. Anyway, I'm very excited. I got the jerseys all dusted off, ready to go. Big jersey collector. You guys, I'm sure once I start popping in the studio, you'll see the threads. I'm excited to see new stadiums. Stadiums will be fun. I did not see Toronto like Mike did, but my hot take is that Cincinnati was the best ballpark I've ever been to, besides Citi Field.
Yeah, no, Cincinnati.
Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati was off the chain.
Mm.
But I am excited. Lots of giveaways for baseball season. It's a longer
Yeah.
season. We'd love to interact with our fans more. Football was kind of crunch time. One game, it got down to almost one game a week. So baseball, we bet a lot on baseball. Baseball is a fun sport to bet on. Easy bets. Giveaways, like I said, we're talking injuries and signings and farm leagues and and I'm excited and I hope to be in person more.
Yeah.
Working 24 hours at a time is not fun.
Yeah, no, so just so you can give it a little background. So you're 24 hours on, 24 hours off, right?
Yep. I work, I'm an airport firefighter. I work 24 hours straight, then I'm off for 24 hours straight. And it just repeats itself all the time.
So I think we will, I think this is a long one. I think that there's a lot to talk about. I don't know necessarily if they'll be this long. What I was trying to do is I wanted to kind of get some series coming out of this as well. I think where we can kind of have different series. So talking about, I want to say, prospects every 2 weeks, and the regular games would be this. Probably an hour, I guess, would probably be sufficient. Probably about an hour talking about the games of the week, the upcoming games for the following week, discussing injuries, discussing trade rumors, discussing, and we will also be able to kind of do this, hop on this, and, if something insane happens or there's a crazy trade, we can kind of come in and, give our quick take about it. I do think that this will be a very big, very fun, and successful season, hopefully for both of our teams. I think that we have a lot to build off of coming off of football. And I think you guys are in for a treat. So I want to say thank you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're almost at 500 subs. We really appreciate everything and all the support you guys give us on TikTok and the socials. And and don't forget, like, comment what where you guys want us to go, because I think that's a great idea Kerry mentioned, and I think it'd be a good time, and so let us know, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I would say the commenting and the liking. Did you stop it?
No, I didn't. It's still going.
Very good. The liking and commenting, the commenting where we're gonna go, I would say closes by Yankee opening day.